is Mohammed Suleiman, and I'll be your host for today's session. Okay, and we're going to be building something fantastic right from scratch. Um, but before we get into it, I'd love to know where you're joining us from. Are you joining from Lagos? Are you joining from somewhere in Nigeria? Are you joining outside of Nigeria, somewhere in Africa? Are you joining from uh, are you joining from the Middle East? Are you joining from, you know, Europe? I'd love to know. All right, Abuja, Lagos, Kaduna. Fantastic, fantastic. How many people do I have in this session? I'm not seeing as much responses. AKT, okay, fantastic. Worry, fantastic, fantastic one. All right, that's brilliant. Nasarawa, Lagos, fantastic. So great, great. All right, so I would go ahead to start the session, okay, so that we don't waste any time. Now, this is the point where I'll tell you, look, you have any loved one who you feel would benefit from today's session, okay, you saw the flyer, share it to them, share the link with them as well so that they can join us. I'm going to share my screen now, and I would want you to confirm if you can see my screen, okay? Confirm you can see my screen. All right, I want you to confirm you can see my screen. Confirm you can see my screen. Oh, my screen is live. Brilliant. All right, today we're going to prove something, okay? We're going to prove something together. We prove that Excel is beyond what you think. Okay, I know if I ask you now, have you used Microsoft Excel before? Majority of you here would have used Microsoft Excel before, or at least you're familiar with Microsoft Excel. Have you used Microsoft Excel before? Are you familiar with Microsoft Excel? Type a yes in the chat if you are. Type a no if you aren't. Okay. Quite a number of people, all right, as expected. Quite a lot of people would have used Microsoft Excel, if not for anything, for documenting, okay, for documenting. All right, I have not used it before. So if you've not used it before, don't worry, okay, don't worry. You'd see how it works today. All right, you're gonna see how it works today. All right, so I'm gonna build a dashboard in like 40 minutes. Okay, we'll build a dashboard in like 40 minutes. But before we go in there, my name is Mohammed Suleiman, and I'm the Chief Operating Officer here at Nebiant Analytics. And I've had the opportunity to rack up close on a decade of experience so far. And I've been opportune to work with top firms across the globe, including Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo is an Italian luxury car brand. They used to be a sister organization with Ferrari up until about 2016 when they became a standalone organization themselves. And I've had the opportunity to mentor and train well over 3,000 Africans. And I've also been a LinkedIn data visualization top voice. And guess what? I also transitioned into tech. I had my first degree in mechanical engineering, and today I can call myself a successful data analyst and scientist. How did I do that? That's why we're here. We're talking more about that later on. But first things first, okay? For those of us who are seeing Naviant Analytics for the first time, because I know majority of us are seeing Naviant for the first time. Some of you, I can already see some familiar faces who have been in our sessions in the past. Welcome to Naviant Analytics. Naviant Analytics is an edtech firm that exists to close a gap. In my experience, I've seen that Black people, Africans to be specific, are underrepresented in the global tech ecosystem. How do we change that narrative? Changing the narrative, is what we are doing here at Naviant Analytics by bringing premium tech training to Africa. Okay, there are so many tech training programs in Africa, but only a few are premium. And the premium tech training program, to cut a long story short, is a tech training program that is committed to standing by you all the way. And when I say all the way, I mean all the way. Okay, giving you some lifetime supports, some juicy offers that would ensure that you get into tech as planned. How many of you are hyped up to know what exactly and how exactly would go on with today's session? Okay, how many of you are excited? If you are excited, let me know. If you are not excited, I'll go home. Okay, if you're excited, type yeah in the chat. Type yeah in the chat. Okay, somebody has typed excited. Fantastic. Okay, type yeah in the chat. Fantastic. So if you're not excited, I'll just go home. Okay. All right. Okay, quite a number of people. A lot of people are excited to be here. Fantastic. So and I can still see so many people joining us. So you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, you're welcome. You are welcome. All right. So let's get into it. Okay, let's get into it without wasting any time. What we're going to be doing today would move around three aspects. The first aspect is the building of an interactive dashboard for women's shoe company using Excel. Okay, we'll do that in Excel, an interactive dashboard. And number two is that I'll tell you about our extra layered employability support, career support, which I can categorically say makes us a premium tech training program, and a special announcement at the end of the session, as well as question and answer. Question and answer. Let's get into it now. The scenario that we're faced with here is a shoe retail company that wants to analyze their sales. Okay, and this is common for so many companies. Pretty much any company you would find out there. Every organization wants to understand what they are doing financially, or even beyond just financials, right? And this particular company wants to analyze sales trend of women's shoes across different regions, and the management are interested in some particular areas. First is what shoes and brands and what shoe categories perform best in terms of popularity and price, and then how sales trend vary over time and across regions, and of course, what insights can we derive. Okay, now some of the key dashboard components are brand and category performance, price trend, regional analysis, and then time series trend. We'll go into that later, but this is what we are going to be building. Okay, as time permits us, we'll build this either together or, I beg your pardon, or you can actually just enjoy the session. The session is recorded. By the time the attendance become available, I would ask you to fill out the attendance so that you can get a copy of my slide as well as this recording, including the data set, so that you can go on to redo this or rebuild this from scratch yourself, and you get to tag us on LinkedIn so we can engage with your post. Okay, I would love to see what the lot of us are able to build and in the end. Are we together, guys? Are we together? And for some of you, you may be wondering, is this Excel? Mohammed, are you saying you built this in Excel? Yes, I built this in Excel, and I'll be showing you just that from scratch today. So here is the data set. Okay, here's the data set. I've embedded it in the slide. So I'm just going to click on that. Okay, I'll click on it. It's going to load up the data set for me. And here's the data set. Okay, so I could just copy the link and then share with you in the chat box. For those of us who want a copy of the data set straight away. That's it. All right, that's the data set. If you click on that, you should see exactly the same thing as I am on my screen. All right. Are we together, guys? Are we together? Are we together? So I'll just enlarge it so we can all see uh, clearly. All right. So what you want to do when you're here is you want to get a copy of this data set into your system. Okay, you want to download the data set into your system. How do you do that? And even if you miss any part, okay, I can see somebody just joining. If you are just joining, all you need to do is sit back and enjoy the process. Okay, we're going to be building something fantastic from scratch. So when the attendance is available, all right, when the attendance is available, I'll ask you to fill out the attendance, and then you can get my recording as well as my slide and everything you need to rebuild this from scratch. But I want you to enjoy the process to even start with. Are we together? Are we together? Are we together? Are we to follow along? It's a matter of choice. If you want to follow me, fine. But my advice for you is sit back, enjoy, and then you can rebuild it at your own leisure time later on. Okay? Can't see my screen, leave the call, join back so that you can see my screen. All right, let's roll. Let's roll. Now, to download the data set into your system, you click on File on the top left, File on the top left, File on the top left, and then you're going to see Download. Download. Okay, you're going to see Download. Click on Download, and you'd see the option for Microsoft Excel. Microsoft Excel. Click on Microsoft Excel. Click on Microsoft Excel, and it's going to download a copy for you right here. Okay, it has downloaded a copy for me right here. All right, it's in my downloads. Okay, you can see there is a copy in here. So all I need to do is I go to my downloads, okay, on my system. Whenever you download something on a laptop, you know where it goes. You go there, and this is my own data set right here. Okay, this is my own data set right here. The latest thing that I downloaded, women's shoe prices data updated. So I'm just going to double click on that, double click on the data set so that it opens, and then we can start to work. Okay, and then we can start to work. Okay, I'll just double click on that. So this isn't it. So double click on that to open it up. Okay. All right. So this is the data set. This is the data set. Are we together, guys? This is the data set. Okay. This is the data set. All right. When you open it up, this is what it's going to look like. Now, again, I'm just reiterating it so that we're on the same page. Okay. You don't have to follow me now, else you miss some valuable insight. Sit tight, enjoy the session, and then in your free time, you get the recording, you get to fill out the fill out the attendance form, you get the recording, you get my slides, as well as the data set. Okay, now Once you open it here, all you need to do is click on this enable editing button, okay, so that you can work on the data set, okay, so that you can work on the data set. Now, you see that in this data set, there are several columns. You have the ID column, you have the brand column, you have the model column, you have the category column, price column, popularity rating column, region column, and then date column. Okay, now the date column, you can see you're seeing hash, hash, hash. The reason is that this particular column is not adjusted, okay, to fit. So if I adjust, I can adjust manually by holding and dragging like this on one of the corners of the column. Or I just put my cursor on the corner of the column and double click, and it automatically adjusts the column for me until I can see the contents. Are we together, guys? Are we together? Brilliant, brilliant. Okay. So what I would do is the next thing I would do is um of course these are shoe brands, okay, the model of the shoe, the category it falls in, heels, flats, sandals, boots, sneakers, and the likes. All right, you have the prices, you have the popularity rating, you have the region, okay, you can see the region. These are states in North America, and then these are the dates. Okay, so as time permits us, we'll do as much as we can. Now, whenever you want to create an interactive dashboard as a data analyst, okay, um, I can't see the attendance. Don't worry, the attendance, when the attendance is posted, I'll let you know. Okay, my screen is showing, Jesse. My screen is showing. Please, guys, if you can see my screen, type I can see your screen. So, Jesse, the fault is from your end. It may be your network, so you can leave the call and join back, or simply just fill out the attendance form when it is posted. Okay, fantastic. Now let's go. We spend too much time. Now I'm going to click anywhere inside of this data set and convert it to an Excel table. Whenever you want to create a dashboard, an interactive dashboard in Excel, you must convert your data set to an Excel table. And to do that, click anywhere in the data set, click anywhere in the data set and do Control T on your keyboard. Control T on your keyboard. Control T on your keyboard. Once you do that, Excel is going to ask you, oh, you want to create a table? Oh, yes, I do. There's a table has headers. Yes, my table has headers. You can see this box ticked. This small box in here is ticked. Ensure it is ticked and then click on OK. Once you do that, something amazing happens to your data set. Your data set has become an Excel table. An Excel table goes beyond the colors you can see. All right. That's just an add-on to Excel table. Now that we have an Excel table, we need to give our Excel table a name. And guys, if you look at this, tabs, these are called tabs: file, home, insert, page layout. These are all tabs. There is a temporary tab created. Temporary tabs will be green like this. Okay, so you can see this temporary tab is called table design. And if you look at the left-hand side of the tab, you see table name and then the box table 1. So you need to click in that box where you have table 1, and then you rename it. Rename the table to data. Okay. Now, why are we renaming it? We're renaming it so that we can easily remember our table and easily call out the table whenever we need to make reference to it. Am I making sense, guys? Am I making sense? Am I making sense? So this is why I said listen and watch what I'm doing. Later on, you can do yours on your own, but you'll be learning a lot so that when you are doing yours on your own, it's not going to be you figuring things out. It's just you flowing with the whole thing. Now that we've renamed our table to data, and I want you to remember the name. Okay, and you can call it anything you want. You can call it Gwagwalada, you can call it Kotungarfi. Okay, whatever it is you want to call your data. All right, but the most important thing is that you remember the name, so make it easy for yourself. Okay, now the next thing I want to do after this is create a new sheet. If you want to create a new sheet, all you need to do is to click this little plus sign at the bottom left area of my screen, of your screen. Okay, in Excel, you see a small plus sign there. If you click on that, it's going to create a new sheet. All right. This particular workbook came with sheet 2, a second sheet which is already created. If I want to create more, I can just click on the plus sign and it keeps on creating sheets for me like that. So I'll just go back to sheet 2. Okay. Now in sheet 2, I'm going to do what is called, I'm going to create what is called summary tables. Summary tables. Summary tables. I'm going to create summary tables. Are we together, guys? I'm going to create summary tables. Are we together? I'm going to create summary tables. Okay. Now, summary tables in Excel are called pivot tables. Pivot tables. If you've ever heard of pivot tables, yes, that's what I was referring to. They are called summary tables. Now, these summary tables will help me summarize my data set into bits and pieces. Okay, are we together, guys? Are we together? All right, it's going to summarize my table into bits and pieces. Okay, so how do we do that? Very simple. Okay, there are two ways. You have the long cut and the shortcut. Which one do you want? I have the long cut and the shortcut to creating pivot tables. Which one do you want? And then you say shortcut. Okay, but let's do the long cut first. It's actually easier than you think. Normal way of creating a pivot table is you click on insert. Okay, you click on insert. Okay, and right under it you see pivot table on the left hand side here. Okay, on the left hand side you see pivot table. Right on the left hand side here you see pivot table. Okay, let me see if I can increase. All right, you see pivot table. So all you need to do is to click on the icon for pivot table. Okay, click on the icon for pivot table, and Excel is going to ask you, oh, what is the name of your table, the Excel table that you want to create a pivot, you want to summarize? What's the name? Oh, who can remind me the name of my table? Who can remind me the name of my Excel table? Who can remind me? Who can remind me? Shakira, if you are here, please can you confirm if my audio is audible enough, if my voice is audible enough? All right, fantastic. Okay, great. All right, brilliant. So I believe people can hear me loud and clear. Okay, so you may want to consider turning up the volume of your device if you can't hear me. Okay, brilliant. Moving on, guys. Now, did anybody help me with the name of my? Okay, fantastic. Data. So I'll type in data in here, data. Okay, and I won't click any other thing apart from OK. So click OK. So once you click OK, it's going to create something like this for you on the top left corner, and that is a pivot table. Okay, also known as summary table, aka summary table. All right, aka summary table. Okay, aka summary table. Are we together? Are we together? Are we together, guys? Great. Now, how are we going to summarize? Now, I want you to look at the right-hand side of my screen. Now, on the right-hand side, I have what we call fields. Fields. And if you look very closely, I have ID, I have brand, I have model, I have category, I have price, popularity rating, region, and date. And these are the same content of my data, the columns: ID, brand, model, category, price, popularity rating, region, and date. The same thing is what I have here as my fields. Now I can pick any of the fields and drop them in any of these boxes, these 4 boxes here, either the filter, column, rows, values box, depending on how I want to summarize the data. Now, the first thing I want to do here is that I want to see how many responses do we have, because this particular sheet is a response from different ladies as to their preference in terms of shoes. Okay, so how many responses did we even get to start with? And the best way to do that is to count how many IDs I have. If I'm able to count how many IDs I have, that will tell me total number of responses that I have in this data. Okay, and to do that here, all I need to do is to select my ID column. I would select my ID column from here, from this right hand side. You can see a little box right there. Okay, you can see a little box right there. All right, you can see a little box right there. Give me a second, let me make it larger. Okay, give me a second, let me make it a little bit larger so that you guys can easily see it. Okay, let me make it a little bit larger. I'm gonna make it a little bit larger. Just give me a second. I'm gonna make it a little bit larger in a moment now. Brilliant. All right, so this should be a lot better now so that you guys can see it. Yep, my screen should come up anytime now. My screen would come up anytime now. Okay, fantastic. So it's coming up. Yeah, I want to believe you can see it better now. So you can see ID, brand, model, category, price. All right, so these are the fields. Okay, these are called fields. Okay, they are called fields. Now, what I'm going to do is I want to count the ID column. So I'm just going to select it. Just select the box. It's as simple as that. And you see in the summary table, it sort of summarizes the whole ID column because the ID column contains numbers. Okay, the ID column contains numbers. Are you with me, guys? Because the ID column contains numbers, okay, it added up the numbers and it's telling me the sum of IDs what 500,000 500. I don't want sum. I want the count. I want to count. I want to count. How do I fix that? All I need to do is to come to the values box. You can see the sum of IDs in the values box here. Okay, so this is the trick behind summarizing. So here I'm going to click on this small drop down arrow beside sum of ID, and then I click on value field settings, which is the last option, and then I want to change it from sum to count. I want to change it from sum to count. I simply just click on count because I want it to count the number of IDs that I have in that column. Am I making sense, guys? And then I click on OK, and now it's telling me 1,000, and that is the exact number of IDs that I have. Now it is counting. You can see count of ID. So I have 1,000 different IDs, meaning 1,000 responses from the ladies was what I got and is contained in this data set. Are we together, guys? So we've done the first thing. Okay, we've done the first thing. We've done the first thing. Okay. We've done the first thing. All right, and now the attendance form is in the chat box. If you look at the chat box right now, you see the attendance form. So fill it out, fill it out, fill it out, fill it out, so that you can get all my slide and my you can get my slide, you can get the recording of this session and everything you need to be able to repeat what I'm doing here today on your own later on. Okay, so let's go on, let's go on, let's go on, let's go on. Now after this I would give space. Okay, you can see me giving some space, and then click an empty cell underneath. And what I'm going to do is this. I'll create another pivot table. Who can remember how I created a pivot table initially? Who can remember how I created a pivot table initially? Okay, guess what? I'm not going to use that. I'm not going to use that technique again. I'll use the shortcut so that you can know. Somebody asked for what's the shortcut. Okay, the shortcut for creating a pivot table is Alt NVT. Let me type it in the chat box. Alt NVT. NVT. Alt NVT. So this is it. Alt NVT, and it's just going to pop up that windows that is asking me for the name of my Excel table. And remember, the name of my Excel table is data, right? Are you with me? The name of my Excel table is data. So I'm just going to type data immediately after the NVT and click on OK. Isn't that brilliant, guys? Isn't that brilliant? Okay, you're learning new things. You've learned a lot already. I'm sure even if I stop the session here, you have gotten value already. Am I wrong? Okay, I'm not gonna. The good news is, I'm not going to. I'm not going to stop here. All right. So let's go ahead. Now, Rukoya, what you need to do is fill out the attendance form so you can get the recording and then you can watch it over and over again and do it yourself. If I go over what I've done again, we'll not leave here tonight. Except if you are planning to sleep here. I am not planning that. So let's go on. Now, the next thing we want to do, since we've created another pivot table, is we want to see more things. Okay, we want to see more. Okay, what do we want to see? Let's see what is the most popular shoe category among women. Okay, what is the most popular shoe category among women? So I'm going to look for category. Okay, so this is category here, and click on the categories box. And immediately you do that, you can see category falls under the rows box, inside the rows box. Okay, and things that would come to the rule box are usually text data. If you have a data that contains text, like these shoe categories, you can see boots, flats, heels, sandals, and sneakers, it's going to fall under the rules box so that I can list them out. And then what I'm going to do is this. I want to count how many times did a female who filled this form mention that, oh, boots is their preference. How many times for flats, how many times for heels, how many times for sandals, how many times for sneakers. And if I ask you to guess now, you say heels should be the most popular among women, right? We can't make assumptions. Let the data speak for itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now drag, okay? Apart from select, I have already selected it and it went to rows. But because I want to count it, I have to drag it. I have to drag category from the source here again to the values box. So the values box would the values box would count it for me. Okay, I will repeat it. I'll repeat myself one more time. Please fill out the attendance form. If you are just joining us or you missed something, you had network issues, fill the attendance form and you'll be fine. All right, so I'm going to drag the category. Okay, I'll hold it, drag it, and drop it here. Okay, hold, drag, and drop the way you drag people on Instagram and Twitter. Okay, drag it and drop it here. All right, once you are done, you're going to see the summary beside it. So boots 197, flats 206, heels 220, sandals 190, sneakers 187. Coincidentally, heels is the most popular, which is not a surprise, right? Brilliant. We are making progress rather. We are making progress. We are making progress. So what I would do is, after creating this pivot table, I need to show it in form of a chart. I need to show it in form of a chart. Okay. Remember, this is where we are going. All right. Remember, this is where we are going. Okay. This is where we are going. All right. Let me show you. This is where we are going. We want to create this particular dashboard. Let me show you this particular one. Okay, we want to create this particular one. All right, so you can see I don't have tables here, I have charts. Okay, so how do we create those fancy charts? All I need to do is, while I'm clicked on this particular pivot table that I just created, okay, you want to look for um, pivot table analyze, okay, pivot table analyze. You tick pivot table analyze. In as much as I clicked on here, you click outside, you won't see anything. You need to click on the pivot table so that the pivot table analyze would come up. Click on the pivot table analyze, and then you want to click on pivot chart. Pivot chart. Click on pivot chart. Now, once you click on pivot chart, it's going to suggest charts for you. Now, I'm going to go for bar chart. Okay, I'm going to go for bar chart. I'll click on bar. So one thing about bar chart is this. The best thing you want to do about bar chart is to rearrange it. But let's first select bar chart and click on OK. And once I do that, guys, I get a nice and clean bar chart. Can we see that, guys? Can we see that? So in contrast with the table, I can actually use this bar chart, okay, to tell a story a lot better. You can see Hughes has the longest bar. Okay, Hughes has the longest bar. Okay, and you know the rest follow. Are we together, guys? Now, but one of the etiquette of using a bar chart is that you want the longest bar to be up and the shortest one to be down, so that the eye can travel from top to bottom and the whole story is understood within a split second. You want, when people see your dashboard, they understand the story you're trying to tell, right? They know the first, the most popular, the second most popular, the third most popular, based on the bar. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll right click on this chart. I'll right click on this bar, on this pivot table. Right click, okay, and then you see sort. You see sort. Now, coincidentally, if I want to sort it from highest to lowest, I'm going to actually choose sort smallest to largest. Okay, that's what I'm actually going to choose. And visually, it's going to sort it from highest to lowest. You can see heels now on top, flats next, boots next, sandals next, and sneakers next. Okay, so that is how Excel works. All right, I would have explained why, but we don't have that luxury of time. Okay, so now the next thing I want to do is I'm just going to take out these unnecessary buttons. I'll take out these unnecessary buttons. Okay, I don't need all of these things. They don't add any value to my chart. So I'm going to right click on any of the button. Okay, I'll right click on, when I say button, this, I mean this, not the one on your shirt. I'm talking about this one in Excel, this count of category. That's called button. Okay, so I'm right clicking on it and I'll click on hide all field buttons on charts. Hide all field buttons on chart. I'm going to click on that. Boom, it disappears. Okay, it disappears. And then I'm going to click on total here. Not this total, please, on top. This total by the side. I don't need that. So click on it, hit delete on my keyboard. Okay, hit delete on my keyboard. And last but not the least, remember, in this visualization, and what you're learning now is professional visualization principle. Okay, so guys, what I'm going to do next is this. I don't want this numbers to be on the bottom here. I want each of the value to be beside the bars, so that as I am looking at the bar visually from top to bottom, I can see the numbers just beside them. Isn't that brilliant, guys? Isn't that brilliant? Isn't that brilliant? So you are making things easy for your audience to look at. Okay, so it means I'm going to take out this axis where I have 170, 180, 190 and the likes. I'm going to click on that. Okay, I'll click on that and hit delete on my keyboard. Delete, and it goes boom like the rest. Okay, and since I don't have that axis again, I don't need these grid lines as well. I don't need these grid lines as well. They are not doing anything valuable on my dashboard. So I'm going to click on any one of the grid line And guess what I'll click on? Guess what I'll click on my keyboard? Delete. And it goes. All right. And last but not the least, I'm going to add the data labels, which is the numbers. I'm going to add the numbers to the bar. By how would I do that? I'll click on this plus sign on the top right. Okay. And I want to select what? Data labels. I'll select what? Data labels. Okay. And once I select that, you can see that the numbers appear beside it. Clap for me, guys. Clap for me. Clap for yourself too. Clap for yourself. Fantastic. So the last thing we're going to be doing on this chart before we move to the next one is we are going to, edit the title. We want to edit the title. So I'll click in there, highlight it and type, okay, popular, or let's type most popular, or let's say popular, popular categories. Okay, popular categories. We know that the dashboard is talking about shoes. All right, so you can either type popular shoe categories or popular categories, but I don't have that strength to type shoe. If you have the strength, be my guest. So now we are done with this particular chart. We move to the next. Now the next we're going to do is want to create a pivot table to show me the regions, okay, and then we visualize it as a map. So we'll create a pivot table. Who can remind me the shortcut for creating a pivot table? I've forgotten. Who can remind me? What's the shortcut for creating a pivot table again? What is the shortcut for creating a pivot table? Somebody said Alt MGT. No. Alt NVT. I typed it in the chat. Alt N for net. N for Nebient Analytics. Okay, Alt NVT. All right, please take note, guys. So I'm going to just press Alt NVT. Okay, and then this pops up, and then I type the name of my data. All right, so I'll type data. Okay, I'll type data and then click on OK, and it creates a pivot table for me. Fantastic, guys. I can see so many people are following me and helping me out with the shortcuts. Okay, now after I've had this pivot table, what do I want to see? I want to see the regions. Okay, I want to see the regions and also count how many times each of these regions appear in the data set. Okay, so I'm going to click on the box for region, and you can see the pivot table lists out all the states in there. And the next thing I'll do is that same region, guys, that same region, I'm not going to put my cursor on it like this. I'll drag it the way I drag people on Instagram and TikTok and drop it in values. Okay, that's the difference between Instagram and TikTok and Excel. In Excel, when you drag, you drop. Okay, you're going to drop it most immediately. But on Instagram, when you drag people, it can last for like 1 week. Okay, let's not go there. So you can see the summary of each of the states. Okay, you can see some states mentioned 14 times, some 25 times, some 26 times, and the likes. But it's not easy to read it like this. It is not easy to read it like this. We need to give me a second. Yeah, so we need to be able to visualize it in a map visual, so it's easier to see in form of a map, okay, than to start checking through what's it called now, trying to figure out which regions are the most popular. So how do we do that? Fantastic. So this is a little bit intricate, okay, and I want you to pay attention. The same way I created a bar chart, I'll try my best to create a map visual, a map chart using this particular pivot table. So I'll click on the pivot table, okay. I'll click on the pivot table, all right. I'll click on the pivot table, okay, and click on pivot table analyze up here, and then I'll click on pivot charts. Now, when I click on pivot charts, I'll look for what? Map visual. Are we together? I'll look for map visual. This is map visual. Okay, this is map visual. Click on map visual, and wow, unexpectedly, it's saying you can't create this chart type with data inside the pivot table. Please select a different chart type or copy data outside the pivot table. Guess what option I'm going to choose? I'm going to actually copy the data outside the pivot table, but there is a twist. Okay, there is a twist. I intentionally did this so that you see the reason why I'm doing what I'm going to do next. Now, what I would do next is this, guys. What I would do next is this. What I would do next is this. Okay, let's move this away. Let's move this away to create a little bit more space. Now, what I'm going to do next is I am going to copy this data to appear beside it here. How would I do that? First off, this row label that I have here, okay, I'm going to edit it and change it to states. All right, so I'll click on this row label, okay, and type state, S-T-A-T-E, state. Okay, I'll type states because what I have there are states. Okay, I'll type states. Very important, guys. Very, very important. You can't skip it. Now, once I've typed state, I'll come here to an empty space. Guys, stick with me, okay? Watch what I'm doing. I'm going to come to this empty cell here, type equal to, and I would reference my pivot table. So it is a way of copying data from the pivot table while still referencing the pivot table in such a way that anything that happens to the pivot table would also reflect on my data, on my copied data. So in as much as I've copied it, it is still linked to the pivot table, but it itself is not a pivot table. That's what I'm typing equal to. Type equal to, then click on states, and then hit enter. And guess what happens? You see state here. I didn't type it. Okay, I didn't type it. And if you click on the states, if you click on this state, you see the formula bar. It says equal to A17. And guess what's on A17? State is on A17. Okay, this is A17. A17. See, that's where state is located. So this is referencing A17. Am I making sense, guys? Am I making sense? Okay, so you don't just copy and paste, you reference. So now, what do? I just drag. Okay, there's a lot of dragging going on in Excel. So I'm going to drag again. What am I going to drag? I'll put my cursor on the bottom right corner of this state that I just created. I'm going to drag it to the right so that I can see count of region also. Okay, and guess what I'll do? I'll then drag it down. Okay, I'll drag it down until I reach here. Fantastic. And you can see all the data that is in my pivot table has now been transferred on here. Okay, all the data in my pivot table has now been transferred here. Okay, and this particular table is still highlighted. And guys, the attendance form is in the chat box. Do well to fill it out so you can get all the materials you need. All right, brilliant. Now that we have this data here still highlighted like this, I'm going to click on insert. Now I can create my map visual, and this is how I'll click on insert, and towards the center of my screen I'll see maps. Okay, click on maps and choose the field map. I choose the field map and boom, I have my map. Clap for me, guys, and clap for yourselves as well. Okay, clap for me, clap for yourselves. So you can see now, because the data is outside of the pivot table, Excel allows me to create a map visual. And guess what? The areas where it is darker, you can see those are the more popular areas, and the lighter ones are the less popular areas. So you can see this region, this belt like this, has these are more popular. Okay, and towards I don't know what to call this, maybe the eastern region here are more popular also. Okay, these are some specific states. So if I have my mouse on there, I could see. So this is Louisiana. This is what? This is Carolina. This is Arizona. This is Nevada and the like. So now that I have this chart, okay, I have this chart, and I have the total number of responses. let's build a dashboard, please, shall we? Let's build a dashboard. So to build a dashboard, I'm simply just going to go to a fresh sheet. Okay, a fresh sheet, and I can rename the sheet. I could rename the sheet by just double tapping on the sheet. Okay, I'll double tap on the sheet and call it dashboard and hit enter. Okay, call it dashboard and hit enter. All right, call it dashboard and hit enter. Enter. Okay, now let's do something. So we're going to build a dashboard here. All right, so I'll be building it. And I'll explain how I'm building it so that when you're building yours, you can just simply watch the video and rebuild yours. So how am I going to do that? Very simple. The first thing is I want to take out this grid lines. I want a white neat canvas like an artist. So I'm going to turn myself into an artist now. How do I do that? Click on the view tab here. Click on the view tab. Okay. And you see grid lines. You see grid lines. Uncheck grid lines. Uncheck grid lines. So once you uncheck it, fantastic. A white, nice, plain background to work with. Okay. Now that I have this, I'll click on Insert. Okay. And I want to click on Shapes where I see shape. This is illustrations. Click on illustrations. It gives you the opportunity to select the shape. I'll click on Shapes. And I want to select a rectangle. And my cursor turns into a plus sign. Now, all I need to do is to hold and drag to create the shape. I hold and drag to create the shape. You see that even in creating dashboard, you still drag. You still drag. Okay? So, like I said, you will drag. All right? So now, I'm going to just adjust the shape, put it on the left corner here. Okay? Put it on the left corner here. Okay? Put it on the left corner here. All right, it's not the left corner. I would have changed the colors, but just for the sake of time, I won't be doing that. Or I'll do that. I'll do that. Okay, but not with this particular shape. Okay, so let's create this. All right. Now that I've created this shape and put it here, let me duplicate the shape, just like creating a copy. To duplicate, you use Control D on your keyboard. Control D, D for duplicate. Control D, it creates another twin. It creates another twin, and then I can reduce the size of this one. Okay, I reduce the size of this one to something like this. Let's have something like that. Okay, and for this specific one, all right, for this specific one, I want to have it a lot lighter. Okay, I want to have this shape a lot lighter. How do I do that? Very simple. I'll click on shape fill, and I can select a lighter tone of blue. Okay, I can select from here, or I select from here, or I select from here. Okay, let me see this one. Let's select this. Okay, let's select this one. All right, so I have a lighter tone of blue. All right, so and you're going to see what we would use this shape for. Now the next thing is we start bringing all the things we created in the previous sheet into the sheet. How do we do that? Let's bring in these two charts first. So I'm going to click on the first chart, the popular categories chart, and guess what I'm going to do? Control X, X for xylophone, Control X to cut, Control X to cut, and then I come here, okay, click on this area where I want to paste it, Control V, boom, cut and paste. Have you ever heard of cut and paste? You're welcome. So now that I've cut and pasted this particular chart, okay, now that I've cut and pasted this particular chart, the next thing I want to do is, I'll cut and paste the last one. Okay, I'm going to cut and paste the second one. So I'm going to go back to this sheet, click on this second one, okay, the one with the map, Control X to cut, Control X to cut, and then you come to the dashboard sheet, click on the area where you want to paste it, Control V, and boom, have this. Okay, and what I can do is, sorry about that. What I can do is I'm gonna just rearrange this. Okay, Let's increase size to fill up the space. All right, so you can see that it is taking shape already. You can see that it is taking shape already. Okay, it is taking shape already. All right, it is taking shape already. If not because of time, I would have showed you how to change the colors and all of that. Okay, but let's leave that one to another time. Now, the next thing I want to do is, do you see this 1000 here, the total number of responses? Okay, the total number of responses. Can't we have it inside of this box? Wouldn't it be nice if we can have 1000 written in this box so that we know that, oh, I have 1000 responses? Wouldn't that be nice? That would be nice, right? Let's do it together. Okay, let's do it together. And I'm not going to type the 1000 manually in here. Okay, because I want it to be interactive such that when I select a particular brand, okay, if I select a particular brand, the 1000 will filter to show me how many responses that brand has. Okay, so because of that, I will not be typing it manually. What will I do? Click on this shape, okay, click on this shape, then go to the formula bar. This is the formula bar. This is called the formula bar, this place. Okay, type equal to, then click on sheet 2, click on sheet 2, click on sheet 2, and then click on 1000, click on 1000, click on 1000, click on 1000 and hit enter. Hit enter, and you're going to see 1000 in that box. Now, if you're trying this on your own and you don't get this, you get an error, any error, you are trying this and you get any error, do this, do this, do this. You click on sheet 2, okay, click on 1000, okay, and then click on pivot table analyze, click on pivot table analyze, click on options, okay, click on options, not that, the small drop down beside it, okay, click on the small drop down beside it, and you see that your generate get pivot data is ticked for you. Yours will be ticked on ticket, and then repeat the previous process that I used to bring the 1000 into the shape, and it should work now. Okay, it should work now. If it doesn't work, if you try it and it doesn't work for any reason whatsoever, send us a DM. Okay, you're doing it wrong. Send us a DM, you're doing it wrong. So now you click on this particular shape, okay, and then just increase the text size. I'll use this to increase the text size. Okay, I use this icon to increase the text size. I can even make it bold. All right, 1000. And I want to write responses beside it like this. I want to write responses beside it. I want to write responses beside it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on insert. I'm going to click on text on the right hand side. I'm going to click on text box. So let's insert a text box. I'll draw that one here. I'll draw it here, just like the way I drew a shape, and type responses. Okay, responses. Okay, 1000 responses. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to take out the color of the the text box so that it can work with the background, because look how it's looking like here. It's looking like a primary school student is designing this dashboard. So I'm not a primary school student. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'll click on this text box. You can see the way I have clicked on it. So I'll click on shape format, I'll click on shape fill, and I'm going to select what? No fill, no fill. That's not all. I'll click on shape outline, okay, no outline, and boom, I am good to go. You can see how nice and clean it is. I am good to go. Okay, and then I'm going to duplicate this text box. Okay, since I already have a text box, I'm just going to duplicate it, bring it here, okay, and type a title. Let's type a title. What should we use as the title of this dashboard? Okay, let's call it women's shoe preference analysis. I think that's a good name. Okay, women's shoe preference analysis. I'll highlight that. Okay, I'll use this icon. I'll click on home. Click on home. I'll use this icon to enlarge it. Okay, I can make it bold as well. All right, and then you see I have a fantastic heading. I have a fantastic header. Women's shoe preference analysis. Okay, Now, I know I have not done this. I have not, touched this title. Okay, but before I touch it, let's make this dashboard interactive. Okay, how would I do that? Please click on this particular, chart. So what we want to do is we want to insert a filter so that, because this dashboard is showing me all the brands together. So what if I want to see just Adidas or Puma or Nike? Okay, I want to see just Adidas, information for Adidas on the dashboard, or just for Puma on the dashboard, or just for Nike. How do I do that? Okay, that's where interactivity comes in. All right, so click on this particular chart, okay, and click on insert, click on insert, click on insert, and you see slicer here, slicer, click on slicer, okay, and the slicer is going to bring you options. What do you want to slice with? I want to slice with brand. I want to slice with brand. So I'll select brand and click on OK. And that will create this slicer for me. Okay, I'm just going to drag it to this side. I'm going to drag it to this side. All right, so it's going to create this slicer for me. Okay, that shows me the list of brands. Okay, so now watch what happens to these popular categories when I click on each of these brands. I'm going to click on Adidas. Watch what happens to this chart. Do you notice what happened to this chart? Tell me what's happening to the chart as I select. Can you tell me what's happening to the chart as I select different brands? What's happening to the chart, guys? What's happening to the chart? It's changing, yeah. So the chart is being filtered to the brand that I select, okay? But if you notice, it is not affecting this 1000 yet, and it is also not affecting the map yet. You would agree with me. It is only affecting this one, okay? How do I do that? So first off, I'll just take out the effect of the filter by clicking on this top right button on the slicer. Okay, that's gonna, unselect all the filter and take me back to the original data there. So what I'm gonna do is I'll right click on this slicer and click on report connection. So I need to connect the slicer to all the other pivot tables. So you can see only one pivot table is selected, which is the pivot table I created the slicer from originally. So all I need to do is to check all these boxes. Okay, I select all of these boxes there. All right. Okay, I have just 3 pivot tables, so all of them are selected. Now I can click on OK, and now if I click on Adidas, guess what happens? It filters. You can see Adidas is just 171. Okay, 171. You can see Gucci. You can see Clark. You can see Jimmy Choo. You can see Prada. Okay, you can see Nike. All right, you can see Puma 177. This one's 148, and you can see the map changing. Can we all see the map changing, guys? Can we see the map changing as well? Okay, clap for yourselves. Clap for yourselves. Okay, so now we are not done yet. Okay, remember, we need to add a little bit of aesthetics. Okay, so the dashboard is not just plain. So let's add like women a high heel shoe. Since heel is the most popular among women, let's put a high heel here. So all I need to do is I'll just go to the internet. Okay, I'm just gonna go to the internet. Okay, and I'm gonna type in heels, just to get the image of heels. So I'll click on images. Okay, and I'm just gonna look for heels that are nice looking. Okay, I'm not buying heels. Okay, I'm not buying heels. I'm just looking for heels. Okay, so let's look for heels together, guys. Let's look for heels. So I'm just gonna select. I don't even know now. I want something white. Okay, let me just select this one. All right, I'll just click on this one. Okay, I hope it loads. All right, so this is it. So from here, I'm just going to right click on the image and I'll click on copy image, and then I minimize, go back to my dashboard. Okay, Control V to paste, Control V to paste. And if you look, this is the picture, it has pasted the picture. What am I going to do with this picture? Watch and learn, guys. Watch and learn. First off, let me reduce the size of the picture. Okay, let me reduce the size of the picture. Okay, reduce the size of the picture. Okay, fantastic. I have something like this. Now, I'm going to remove the background. I don't need the background. So I'll click on picture format. What you'd rather use Photoshop to do, I'll do it with Excel. So I'll click on picture format, click on remove background, okay, and Excel is intelligent enough to know where the shoe is, okay, and I can even mark areas to keep if it's not that accurate, but since it's accurate, I don't need to do anything else. I just click on keep changes and takes out the background. How cool is that? And now I can then, you know, reduce the size even further and just place it somewhere, and place it somewhere here. Okay, and place it somewhere here. All right, reduce it, place it somewhere here, like, you know, a shoe logo. Okay, like a shoe logo. Are we together? So this is what we have. Okay, this is what we have. So you can go ahead and save your work. Click on file, click on save, you know, click on save, and then, you know, you can go ahead and save it. Now once you're done creating yours, guys, once you're done creating yours, okay, I want you to take a screenshot of it. Take a screenshot. Okay, you can use the snipping tool. You can click on, you can check SNIP. Just type SNIP on your search bar. You see snipping tool. Click on snipping tool. Okay, click on snipping tool. You'd see this a small windows pop up. Okay, like this. You see new. Click on new, and then your screen is going to go white, and, you know, you can just select where you want to screenshot that, save it, and then post it on LinkedIn. Tag us. I'd love to see what you guys come up with. Okay, I'd love to see what you guys come up with. So click on save it, and do all of those things. Then send it, post it on LinkedIn, and let's see what you actually have. Okay, but from here, you can start to, you have a summary of that large amount of data sets. Here, you know that the popular regions are in this area and these other areas. You can see heels is the most popular category. And when you start to filter with Adidas, you can see for Adidas, 171 responses. You can see for Clarks, 85 responses. For Gucci has just 11 responses. Okay, so these are ways that, you know, you can derive insights from data on the go as a data analyst. Okay, and this is the first part of this session wrapped up. Okay, if you missed any part of today's session, please fill out the attendance form so you can get the recording into your mailbox, and you can also get my slides as well as the data sets I use. So in your own free time, you get to rebuild yours, you know, and that way you haven't missed anything. Okay, so now let's get back to business. Okay, let's get back to business. All right, let's get back to business, guys. Let's get back to business. So we were talking about you know, how to become a data analyst. And guys, this is typically what you'll be doing as a data analyst, in just in a second, as a data analyst. Okay, this is what you'll be doing as a data analyst in the give me a second, guys. Fantastic. So this is what you're going to be doing as a data analyst when you find yourself in the space. Okay, when you find yourself in the space, this is typically what you're going to be doing, but you're going to do it at a larger scale. Okay, you're going to do it at a larger scale. So let's talk more about that, shall we? Let's talk more about that. Or uh, who is interested? Who is interested in becoming a data analyst, guys? You want to do what I've been able to do now within like 1 hour. Okay, and that was me explaining it to you. So imagine I had to do this on my own without explaining to anybody. Within the space of within the space of um 10 minutes, I would be done with it. Okay, I would have been done with it. All right, I would have been done with it. Okay, give me a second. Fantastic, fantastic. Okay, fantastic. So now guys, what you need, okay, you can see what we created is very similar to what we have here. Here, I included the colors, and all of that stuff. I could include links into your email, so show you how to change the colors and all of that. But I think I shared a little bit of that, so you can get creative and see what you can come up with on your own. Okay, but because of time, we'll just go into the next things. Now, we've started with build the dashboard. Why should you even become a data analyst to start with? First, it is easy to learn. You would agree with me that you were able to learn one or two things from today's session. Very easy to learn, regardless of your background. Okay? It's easy to transition because there are tons and tons of opportunities out there. If you open LinkedIn alone and search for data analyst roles, about 1,000 remote roles are available every day for data analysts alone. Every day, just remote roles, working online as a data analyst. Okay, not to talk of if you now want to add on-site roles. Okay, when you add on-site roles, it's about 7,000. There are no jobs that have such amounts of openings per day. And that's why it's easy to transition, because there are just so many companies looking for data analysts. And guess what? They are highly paid. You have great salary projections as a data analyst. So these are 3 reasons why you should become a data analyst. How do you become a data analyst? That's the next thing. Where do you start from? Where do you rack up the experience? That's the next question, right? Stay with me. Now, you want to get conversant with some specific tools as a data analyst, okay? Excel, okay, Excel, all right, this is Excel. Then Power BI, then Tableau, SQL, Looker Studio, and ChatGPT. Now, Excel is what we use today. For some of you who have used Excel before, you would agree with me that you've never ever bent Excel to that point that we bent it together today. Okay, so Excel can do a whole lot more. Okay, beyond what people use Excel for. So Excel is the fundamental tool as a business, as a data analyst, rather. Okay, you see these two. Okay, this one and this one. All right, Power BI, Tableau, and Looker Studio are very similar in terms of functionality. You use them to build and automate reports. Okay, now it would have been sufficient to just learn one of them, but because you want to have a competitive advantage in the job market, okay, here at Navient Analytics, we teach students how to use all three: Power BI, Tableau, and Looker Studio. Then we also have SQL. Okay, SQL is a database management system. So companies will store their data there. You would go in there, extract the data from there. So you need to learn how to do that using SQL. And in this day and time, if you are not conversant with tools like ChatGPT, or you think that ChatGPT is out to replace you, you're on a long thing. Okay, so we included it as part of the curriculum so that you can learn all of these things without even asking. And guess what? The future of jobs report for 2025, okay, has projected that by the year 2030, the demand for data analysts would be on an increase. It is high in demand now, but that demand is still going to increase heading into the near future. So what are you waiting for, guys? What are you waiting for exactly? So just to shed a bit of light on what the job of a data analyst really is, okay, as a data analyst or in the data analytics spectrum, because so many people confuse who a data analyst and a data scientist are, what are their differences, right? So in data analytics rather, you have 4 types. You have descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive analytics. Guess what? The job of a data analyst concerns just the first 2. I repeat, the data analyst focuses on just the first 2 types of analytics, the descriptive and diagnostic analytics. Okay, descriptive analytics is simply what we did together today, telling a story about what happened, summarizing the data pretty much. While the diagnostic analytics is taking it a step further by investigating why those things happen. For example, we could have decided, you know what, oh, since heels is the most common shoe category among women, why is that so? Can we investigate that? The moment we dive into that rabbit hole, it is called the diagnostic analytics. Are we following, guys? Are we following? Are we following? Are we following? And one thing you need to do is to build a project portfolio. And this is just a snippet of the kind of projects you would work on as a data analyst here at Navient Analytics. Okay, and this project would form your portfolio, which you showcase to potential recruiters to start to attract them, because you're not learning this for fun. Okay, you're not doing this for the fun of it. You want to make ends meet from this, right? So you need to showcase to potential recruiters. These are some of our students alongside their portfolios. You can, when you get this slide, you can actually click on them so that you can see what they've been able to build. Okay, I could just click on Adachi's portfolio, okay, just to show you what it looks like. Now, when I click on Adachi's portfolio, it's going to load her portfolio. This is somebody who has no prior experience. She joined our program and we provided her with the resources for her to build this kind of portfolio. She built it and she has the link in her CV on her LinkedIn, and recruiters can come here without her knowing and see what she has been able to build over time. Okay, so you would also be building something like this once you get on the program. The program is a 3-month journey, if you're asking. So it's for 3 months you learn, and after that you have a 1-month internship, okay, for you to test your skills. All right. The schedule for the classes are Saturdays 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for 3 hours. Saturdays are reserved for solving real-world projects like we did today. Okay, but the class is not going to be cramped like this. It's going to be more detailed. It's going to be you're not gonna look at the time factor, because you have 3 hours to play with. So imagine we had 3 hours. I would have ensured that each and every one of you builds that dashboard in class alongside myself. Okay, so it's going to be a whole lot more detailed. Okay, no time constraints, and you're going to enjoy. So Saturday classes are for solving projects that you're going to showcase on your portfolio. Now, Sundays are for what we call DID videos, do as I do videos. It's self-paced, so you determine how you want to consume those videos. You spread it across the week. These videos prepare you ahead of the next class, so that when you come to the next class, you are best prepared to solve real-world projects under the guidance of the instructor. Now, on weekdays, Tuesdays and Thursday evenings, you have sessions. Now, on Tuesday evenings, 9 to 10 p.m., you have what we call the support sessions. The support sessions are tailored to when you have any issues, you join in that session, complain to the facilitator, maybe something you learned in the past or something you're trying out, it's not working. This is where you get to solve it. Now, the key thing is we don't want you carrying problems from the past week to the next week, so that you don't get your progress hampered. On Thursday evenings, you then get what we call mentorship. Guys, if you learn tech or you want to get into tech and you don't have mentorship, you are a goner. Okay, Arsenal fans, permit me to use goner. All right. So, guys, mentorship is very key. And on Thursdays every week, 9 to 10 p.m., you have mentorship. All your sessions will be recorded, and you would have a lifetime access to these things. Okay. I've included the brochure here. So if you want to look at more information around what you'll be learning, it is in here. Now, as if that's not enough, it seems as if, oh, Mohammed, have you come to the end of the session? Guess what? We haven't. Now, beyond just the technical aspects, when I talked about mentorship, what's your mentorship gonna, entail? Okay, we have an extra layered career support beyond the technical tools that you'll be learning. You're going to be learning what we call, this is the weekly mentorship, like I mentioned. You're going to be learning CV assessment and job matching. Gone are the days where you use a single CV, apply to jobs, and then you get a job. It doesn't happen that way. You need to always tailor your CV for each job you apply to, and there is a way to do it. You're going to learn that. We'll teach it to you. You have LinkedIn profile revamp. Walk you through on revamping your LinkedIn profile so that you can be seen by potential recruiters. I know so many people that only a LinkedIn profile revamp gave them results. I know some people like that. You have Upwork profile. You want to work remotely for organizations based mostly in the US. Upwork is the way to go. I did an Upwork session. I think that was last month or early this month. I can't remember it now. You may want to follow us on all our socials so that you don't miss out, especially YouTube. You have a lifetime interview preparation. Now, you start to apply when you're in the program, and with the expectation is that you get interviews. Now, the moment you get an interview, all you need to do is to inform us, and we prepare you ahead of the interview. And you have a lifetime access to this, meaning even after a program has ended, without paying an extra dime, you would have access to pre-interview prep. Only a premium tech training program who is passionate about getting into tech will do this. If you go out there, what you see other people do is, oh, come and learn Excel, come and learn this. And once you're done learning, bye-bye. We are done with you. Okay? That's not the case here at Navient Analytics. All right? As if that is not enough, you get a lifetime access to the Navient team. You can reach out to us for help, even after you got in the job. Oh, something is not clear. I need your help. You get free consultation. You won't have to pay additionally for all of those things. Okay? Because as at that time, you are now part and parcel of our community. All right? And that's what we do here at Navient Analytics. All right? Yeah, I talked about the internship. You get a reference and recommendation letter. And guess what? This reference and recommendation letter, let me talk a little bit more about it by way of sharing testimonials. Now, one of our students, got a job recently. Okay, her name is Helene Okai. Helene Okai, and this is her LinkedIn page. Okay, she got a job recently as a data analyst. Okay, and this was the email she got. Okay, this was the email she got. It has been great going through the recruitment process with you and see your drive and passion through the process. Following our discussion, we are pleased to offer you the position of junior marketing analyst. Please find the offer of employment and all of those things. And then if you go down here, fast forward, it says you are also required to provide 2 references, one personal reference and one professional. So on letterhead, preferably from a previous employer. Now, one of the additional things that we do here at Navient Analytics is that once you join us, you can claim work experience with Navient Analytics. And we're confident about that because we walk you through reward scenarios. So because you can claim work experience with us at Navient Analytics, we then have the power to give you recommendation letters. And guess what we'll do? We'll write a compelling recommendation letter on your behalf. I wish I could show you what I wrote. I was the one who prepared Helene Okai's recommendation letter for her. So these are the things you get with Navient Analytics. And again, The recommendation letter is not something you pay extra for. So even if your program has ended, you need such a thing, we'll provide it to you, and you won't have to pay a dime extra beyond your initial investment into taking the program itself. All right, and we not just selling Okai, there's so many. We have Lebron Lawale, we have Udwak Basi, you can listen to them, on point with those. You have Amakanyago, you know, and so many more. Okay, so you can simply even go to our YouTube page or Instagram. You're going to see all of our latest testimonial. We've also featured on Tech Cabal and Business Day, top tech boards, constantly reiterating the fact that Nabiant Analytics is one of the few tech brands that are passionate. When we say passionate, not just by mouth, but by the work of our hands. As regards helping Africans into the tech ecosystem. Now, the big question is to you guys. How many of you want to start your journey 10th of May? We have a class starting 10th of May 2025. That's in about 2 weeks. How many of you want to start the journey? But because guess what? Those are the only set of people I want to speak with going forward. If you know you are ready to take part in this journey, all right, you need to indicate in the chat box. You are the ones I want to speak to going forward from now. Okay, brilliant. Now that you've identified yourself, okay, and I want you to keep in mind, okay, all of the offers we've given you, especially the lifetime interview, the lifetime access to the Nabian team, the lifetime access to reference and recommendation letters. Keeping that in mind, guys, what will it take for you to join our class starting the 10th of May? Here it is, guys. Okay, we offer 3 career paths: data science, data analytics, business analysis. Okay, you choose one and then we'll train you on that. But specifically, I'm talking about the data analytics program today. And that's why you've seen I've just been talking about only data analytics, because today's session is about data analytics. All right, and the commitment is 250,000, and with that you gain access to all of the things that I talked about, including all of the lifetime offers. Now, you can break this down into 3 installments. Okay, you can break this down into 3 installments. Now give me 1 second. I'll share my screen now. Okay, I'll share my screen now. Give me 1 second. Now you have the opportunity to do it as you like. Okay, you have the opportunity to do it as you like. Now you have the opportunity to make that 250,000 into 2 installments or 3 installments. Guys, am I making sense? Am I making sense? You can decide times. Guys, are we there? Are we there? Hello guys, are we there? Okay, brilliant. All right. Fantastic. So now, guys, now guys, okay, we can make this in what? In as much as 3 installments. And looking at the kind of value that we give here at Navient Analytics, at the end of the day, you see that it resonates with our larger vision as a brand to help Africans get into the space. Now, this is it. I'm going to share my screen back. Okay, I'm just going to share my screen back so that we can continue with the session. All right. So once you can see my screen again, I would want you to indicate. Okay, I want you to indicate. Okay, I want you to indicate. I want you to indicate. Okay, now, fantastic. You can break your installment plan to as much as 3 installments, as you can see on my screen. Okay, you pay the first installment. Okay, the first installment, 83,333 naira. Okay, that's going to be the first installment, and then you start the class. Then the second installment, 1 month into the class, and then the third installment, 2 months into the class. Simple. All right, simple. Now, some of you may be asking, oh, Mohammed, what if I don't have 83,333 naira in my account right now? What do I do? What do I do? Okay, with as low as 30,000 naira, you can secure a spot right now, because the spots are limited. We do limited spots because we don't want our classes to be overcrowded. Okay, that's how we balance things here. So with 30,000 naira right now, a spot is secured for you. And then before the class starts, you top up with the remaining to complete the first installment. That's if you want to. I'm presenting the 3 installments because the 3 installments is the most popular choice for our customers, right? So it means that if you pay 30,000 naira now, before the class starts May 9th, you just top up with 53,333 naira, and then you get into the class, you can start, and then you start paying like that, going into the future. Okay, so we've helped you spread the payment like that so that you can get yourself started. So guys, who am I working with? Who exactly am I working with? If you've made your first installment, okay, or you've secured a spot with 30,000 naira, send me a DM 0703 215 8619 0703 215 8619. Okay, now you can ignore what I've written here. First installment, made before you start class. Second installment, 1 month into the class. Third installment, the second month into the class. Okay, and like I said, with 30,000 naira tonight, a slot is guaranteed for you. And then and if you actually pay 30,000 naira now, what you've actually done is you've splitted it into 4 installments. So guys, you won't get this offer anywhere else. And I'm telling you categorically that, guys, after this investment you are seeing in front of you, you get access to all of our juicy offers, including the lifetime offers. So my number is 0703 215 8619. It will be in the chat box now. The account detail is also on my screen and inside the chat box. Once you have secured your slot, send me a DM and I'll walk you through the process of enrollment so that you can get yourself started ASAP. Okay, send me a DM once you've secured your slot so that we can get your details in our files, and then we can work with you like that going into the future. Okay, you can see the installments. And one very funny thing about this 3 installments is this: if you add these 3 up, okay, it's going to be less than 250,000. If you break it into 3 installments, it's actually going to be less than 250,000, as you see. It's 3,333 naira in 3 places. Okay, is 249,999. So you have 1 naira to yourself. Okay, which is fantastic. So guys, is it for all three? If you choose your career path, okay, you choose a career path and we'll train you on that. OC, not for all three. You choose your career path and then we train you on that. So how many people have secured their slots now? How many people have secured their slots? If you secured your slots, send me a DM. Send me a DM if you secured your slots. WhatsApp DM, guys. Send me a DM once you secured your slot with 30,000 naira. Okay. I'm shutting this down in a few minutes. And guys, if you have any questions, you can actually ask your questions. You can actually ask your questions. In the next 3 minutes, I will be shutting this down. Okay, go ahead and ask your questions. You can turn on your microphone if you want to ask a question. Okay, you can turn on your microphone if you want to ask a question. Or just say your name. Just say your name, and I'll ask you to speak. Okay. Let's see. Here's somebody saying, Shubado is saying, well done, Master Muhammad. This is the third session I've attended in the past 2 weeks. I've decided to start my journey. I made a commitment a few days ago. I was convinced I'm not the only one to move forward with Navians, but actually do it and enjoy it. I really enjoyed today's session. I'm going to attempt to pay full payment before beginning May 10th. Fantastic, Chubado. I would love to see you in class. Congratulations on securing a spot. Somebody unmuted. I don't know who that was. Do you want to unmute again and speak?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's Tijani, right? Tijani Abdul Malik. Go ahead, please.
Is UT first?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. First of all, let me sincerely appreciate you for your time. I mean, it was a fantastic session. You know, there's always an opportunity for us to learn one or two things each time you come in contact with data. So my question is around I've seen the paper. We have data science and we have data analytics and business analysis. Yeah. And I also that this payment is for, we're expected to use either of these. So my I also understand that if you're going for data science, there are specific tools that you're going to be familiar with, and if analysis, there are also specific tools. So, but my question is going to be that for data science, I understand that you also have more tools that you may need to learn, which peradventure, by the time you are a data scientist, you automatically can also come to data analysis because it's like you cover more tools and all of that. So is it people that, so does it mean that irrespective of I'm going for data science or data analytics, I'm going to pay the same money? I understand that. So for you, which of these advice that someone should go for? Looking at the fact, if you do data science, there are chances that there are some tools that you will not do when you are doing data, which of course you'll be able to cover in data science. Or is there any specific reason why you feel like, oh, okay, since it's the same amount, someone should it is instead of data science? So that clarification on that. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. Very good question. All right, very good question. I enjoyed your question. Now, first off, data analytics, data science are different. Okay, I don't know if you saw my slide where I was explaining data analytics and data science. What's the job of a data analyst? I talked about these first two types of analytics: descriptive and diagnostic analytics. That's the focus of the data analyst. Now, while it is true that some of the tools and technologies that are used by data analysts may also be used by data scientists who focuses on these other two types of analytics, predictive and prescriptive. They use it for different purposes. The data analysts, if you say data analyst using Excel, they are using it for descriptive and diagnostic analytics. Okay, while a data scientist would use the same Excel for predictive analytics. There are so many things Excel can do beyond what we've done today. So that's the idea behind it. Now, in some cases, they would use different tools like Python, GitHub, and the likes. So that is that about that aspect. Now, which one should you go for? Since the commitment is pretty much the same, which one should you go for? Should you go for data scientist? Should you go for data analyst? Now, it's a matter of choice. Having understood what they do, okay, as a data scientist, you focus more on predictive analytics. You're going to prepare your mind to also write codes. But guess what? It's a lot easy to write codes these days than it was back in the days because of the advent of tools like ChatGPT. Okay, so it's a matter of choice. Do you mind writing Python codes? If you don't mind, go for data science. Okay, back in the days when I was transitioning, because I did not have much guidance, I started with data analytics, and then I went into data science. It took a lot of time, unnecessary time, but I was able to get there. Okay, and that's the reason why we exist. We don't want people to and take too much time for them to get results. But again, just to branch your question into this aspect, what if you actually want to start with data analytics and then maybe go into data science later on? My advice for you is this: if you start with data analytics, get a job as a data analyst first before you think of upskilling to data science. Reason: you don't want to be caught in the loop of just learning and learning and learning and learning and learning without actually applying the things that you learned. Okay, so it will be a matter of choice. I am not biased to one of them because I actually work as both a data analyst and a data scientist. So, but secretly, and I'm saying this is just from uh, as from a point of view of preference. From a preference point of view, I love data science. You know why? Guess why? You won't believe the reason why I prefer data science for myself. You ought to take a guess, Tijani, why I prefer data science. You're muted. Your microphone is muted.
Yes, I mean that's because I don't have nothing is coming on top of my
Nothing is coming, right?
Yes.
The reason is because I don't like too much work. Now, as a data analyst, you build dashboard, you drag and drop. You see all those dragging and dropping I was doing, all those building of dashboards. That's the job of a data analyst. Okay. So as a data scientist, you won't be engrossed in building dashboards. You'd rather write codes. Okay. And I prefer writing codes. It's a matter of preference. So I prefer writing codes. And for the fact that I can even use AI tools to write codes and just focus on solving the problem at hand, makes it even better. Okay, so it's a matter of choice, preference, and what you want to do on the long term. So if you want to start with data analytics, that's absolutely fine. If you want to go straight to data science, that's absolutely fine. You're going to be working with professionals who know their stuff and know what they are doing. Okay, so does that answer your question, Tijani?
Yeah, very well. Thank
All
you.
right, fantastic. I received a DM, two DMs actually. I think somebody has made payments. I don't know if that's you. Is that you or you've already registered?
No, I'm here to make commitments here.
Okay, do that because as I was asking your question, two DMs came in. Okay, they know themselves, so ensure you're the third person. Okay, am I counting on you to be the third person tonight, Jan? Okay, now it's three. I don't know if you heard the sound of my phone. That's the third DM with our payment receipt. So Tijani, I'm counting on you to be in class come May 10th. Okay, so I'll be waiting for your own DM as well. All right, so let's go to the next person. Let's see. So Uti, go next. You can unmute. Let me take your question. Okay, Uti, you're the one that just sent me a DM right now, if I'm correct. I just saw a DM right now from you. Okay, fantastic, fantastic. So I think we can take it up in the DM once I'm done with this particular session. I will just respond to you via DM. Congratulations on securing a spot. And guys, if you're just joining us, what we're saying is with 30,000 naira, you can actually secure your spot first, and then you top up ahead of the first class in um before the first class May 10th. Okay, you top it up to complete the first installment. So what we are even doing is breaking the first installment into two. Where will you see this kind of offer, guys? So take it by the horn, take the bull by the horn while you still can. Or Job or Grace, your hand is up. You want to speak with me? Do you want to speak with me? Do you want to speak with me, or Job or Grace? Do you want to speak with me? Okay, your hand is down now. Jimmy, but Job or Grace, have you secured your spot? Are you one of the people that have sent me a DM? Are you one of the people that have sent me a DM? If you are not, then why haven't you? If you are one of them, then congratulations. So which of the two is it? Is it congratulations or the why? Which of it? Which of it are you taking? Or Job or Grace? That's to you. I want to see your response. Have you taken a spot already? With 30,000 naira only, you can secure a spot right now, and then um we go on from there. I will by tomorrow morning. My app isn't opening. Okay, fantastic. But Grace, ahead of tomorrow morning, please send me a DM. What you said now in the chat box here, send it to me via DM on WhatsApp, because you may come tomorrow and guess what? There's no slot left. Okay. All right. So let's go to the next person, Jimmy Atilola. Jimmy Atilola, how are you doing? Please, I want to ask, what is the rate of job offer of data analyst? Okay, since you asked, let me just share my screen and show you. Okay, let me just share my screen and show you. Since you asked, what's the rate? He's asking, what's the rate of jobs? Let's go to LinkedIn. All right, let's go to LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is a professional platform where you look for jobs, where you also showcase your skills to the general professional public. Now, I'm just going to search for data analyst here. Okay, data analyst. Okay, data analyst. And I'm going to click on jobs. Okay, I'm going to click on jobs. So this is jobs. I'll click on jobs. So it's going to show me data analyst jobs. And guess what? As of today, Jimmy Atilola, as of today, I want you to look very closely at my screen. Let me enlarge it so that you won't miss it. As of today, we have 14,439 open roles for data analyst alone. 14,439 open roles. Okay. Now let me filter to just remote. Okay, let me filter to just remote. I have 2,000 plus remote roles that are open. Some of them, this particular one, data analyst tutor, okay, remote, was posted 57 minutes ago. Okay, senior data analyst, 3 hours ago, remote. Senior data analyst, digital science, EMEA, remote. Now you may be wondering, can I go for senior roles? Come and see what we are doing in Nebiant Analytics. This is data analyst, posted 1 week ago. Senior data analyst, 7 hours ago. Data analyst, 3 weeks ago. Data analyst, 4 days ago, 5 days ago. In fact, you can filter, okay, to jobs that were posted just within 1 week ago, and you have close to 1,000 results. Now tell me, can you actually possibly apply to 1,000 jobs in 1 day? And that's the reason why initially my presentation I said, you know what, it is easy to transition because it is high in demand. Okay, so I hope that answers your question, Jimmy. And I hope you are also one of the people that have sent me a DM with the proof of payment. With 30,000 naira, you can secure a spot. Um, you can secure a spot with us, and then we walk our way up from there. Okay, so what's the status like with you, Jimmy? What's the status like with you, Jimmy? If I move to someone else, have you secured your spots? Did I answer a question? And have you secured your spots? Yeah, go ahead. You can speak or you can type in the chat since you've typed in the chat already. I'm just waiting for a response so that thank you by tomorrow we'll decide. Wow, you still want to decide, Jimmy. Tell me what the objection is. What do you want to decide? Do you want to speak with your spouse or you want to what is why don't you decide tonight? I want to know why. Why don't you decide tonight? Okay? Why don't you want to decide tonight, Jimmy? What are you still waiting for? Do you just tell me, please? I would love to know. Okay. So while you're typing that in the chat, let me see if there is another person who wants to ask a question. A Kanem, I hope I pronounce your name correctly. Okay.
Yeah,
Do
you
you want
did.
to speak with me? Okay, fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you, Mohammed. Yeah, that was a very insightful presentation. So I think
That's
you've
great.
done justice to explaining basically the overview of and you went further to talk about the difference between data analytics and data science.
Yeah.
But do you mind giving some sort of insight or a brief overview of business analysis and how it relates? How do they, because these are all within the same space, right?
Yeah.
So how do they interrelate? Basically, what is the role of a business analyst? Because I'm seeing it as one of the three courses
What
offer.
is
So if somebody were to make a choice, you want to make an informed choice. So we've understood the scope of data science, we've understood the scope of data analytics. So what
yeah.
is really the scope of business analysis and how, two questions, and then what's the relation that a business analyst has with a data analyst and a data scientist? Thank you.
Fantastic question. I was waiting for somebody. At some point, I was praying for somebody to ask. Okay, but it just seemed as if people were interested more in data analytics, data science. Okay, so before I answer your question, for Jimmy Atilola and Uchechukwu Emenike, you need to send me a DM ahead of tomorrow. Else, you may hear a different story tomorrow. That's happened times without number. Okay, I don't want it to happen to both of you. So send me a DM tonight against tomorrow so that we can plan ahead of tomorrow. Brilliant. So now to your question, Mekanen. Now a business analyst is sort of like a project manager on steroids. Okay, a project manager on steroids, and I'll explain why. Now, you know what project management is. A company is trying to build a new app. A project manager, oversees the entire project. But beyond just project management, a business analyst is also expected to have a sizable data data knowledge, right? You should be able to handle data to maybe not to the extent of the data analyst or the data scientist, okay, but to a reasonable um, extent. Okay. So for that reason, and I've included all of this information in the brochure, is in my slide. So if you filled the attendance form, you're going to see everything in here, all the details of what you've been learning, you know, in data analytics, data science, or business analysis. But who is a business analyst, right? A business analyst is more of like, a project manager that also has, a decent data a data knowledge, right? Now, how do they relate? Me mentioning data has already, shown you how they relate in terms of data, right? But as a business analyst, your main focus is people relations. You're going to be relating with people, stakeholders in the project. okay, CEOs, COOs, and then the developers, the web developers, software developers, those are technical guys. You're going to ensure there is documentation. You're going to ensure there is timeline planning. You're going to ensure there is gap analysis. You're going to ensure that you educate your team on what is called agile project management. Agile project management abolishes the idea of waiting to the end of a project before you present to stakeholders. You can actually do that incrementally whilst the project is going on so that the project is agile to change. So if that sounds like something you want to do, you want to be a business analyst, you're more of like a people person, you're welcome. Okay. So that is what business analysis is. I hope I was able. Okay, I've seen your thumbs up, so I hope I was able to answer a question. All right. So are you interested in business analysis? Is that what you want to go for, Ikamen?
No, I don't think so. I think
You
I'm
said
more inclined to coding like you, so I think I'll rather opt for the data science.
fantastic, my guy. You're my guy. Okay, so um, have you already secured a spot though, or what's the plan?
I'll definitely do that by tomorrow.
Okay,
I
fantastic.
dropped I filled the attendance sheet, so I'm hoping to have the recording. I didn't watch from the beginning, so that I'll be
Okay,
better briefed, you know.
okay,
So
fantastic. That makes
hopefully
sense.
that comes in tomorrow, and then I'll go ahead and secure.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's gonna happen. So what you need to do is don't forget to send me a DM, okay? Because what I'm doing, why I say you guys should send me a DM, especially for those who want to secure their spot tomorrow, is this: the spot would already be reserved for you till tomorrow, so that if people come, they will be the one to wait for you guys to secure spots first. But else, those spots will be given out to other people before you, which I don't want to happen. We've already had a conversation, so just send me a DM so I can have that in my records. So I think that I have 3 minutes to 10. Okay, Maurice, can I take Maurice's question? I think Maurice will be the last person I'll take tonight before we draw the curtain. So Maurice, hello. Hi, Maurice. How are you doing? Hi, Maurice. How are you doing today? Do you want to have a conversation with me, or it was an inadvertent raising of the hand? Which is it? All right, it's looking like Maurice raised hand inadvertently. So I think this is the point where we're going to call it a night. Okay, I really, really enjoyed myself. I hope you got value for your time as well. There is more we can actually do together. Okay, so guys, you would see other training brands out there. They will tell you, no, don't register with Nabiant. We are cheaper. You don't want to go cheap on this one. Okay. Okay, Morris is with me. Or Morris, you can send me a DM. Okay. Maurice, you can send me a DM. All right, let's chat. Okay. Is my question still valid? Yes, it's still valid. Do you want to ask it here? You want to send me a DM? Which one? It's up to you. I can still take a question. What do you want? Which one do you want? Do you want to ask it now, or you prefer send me a DM so that you kill two birds with a stone? Okay. Sending me a DM kills two birds with one stone. All right. So send me a DM. Let's chat. But after the session, you give me a bit of time. I've received a lot of DMs, so I'm gonna respond to each of them one after the other before I go to sleep. Okay. So guys, thank you for your time. Um, speak about Navient analytics to your loved ones, your relatives, your colleagues, your friends. Let's get as many people as we can on board, and we can you can thank us later. Okay. So good night, have a wonderful night, and cheers.
Cheers. Bye, Mohammed.
Bye. Bye, Mikani. Bye, everyone.